My name is Pinder.
My name is Richard R. Pinder Jr.
And my father is the late Dr. Richard H. Pinder.
So my father, growing up, I remember a lot of stories and thinking about this moment and what I was going to say. I thought about just being a man, and that is something that from I was a child to growing up to an adult to even now being a father myself, I think of all of the lessons and things. I find myself thinking about things that we would have talked about, lessons he would have tried to impart to me that you might not have thought of at that moment, but now that you reflect on it, you understand the importance of why he was doing what he was doing.
My dad, there's a lot of words I could use to describe him, but he, even from a child growing up, I always remember him being present. He had a way of always being at church, but always being at home. I don't know how he did it, but he was just always heavily involved in my life. And I never felt neglected. I never had a time where I resented his calling because he wasn't there. He just always had a way of always making us feel like he was here and he was present as a father.
Something that I remember growing up was on our birthdays, he would always have a conversation with you about what's to come. You're going to be X, Y, and Z age, so now this is going to be changing. He would talk about spirituality, he would talk about school, he would talk about friends, he would talk about you being a man or a woman in my sister's case. And so I just remember him going through that process with him and him always being there to talk with you through anything that you were going through. And I think that is something that, as I mentioned, me being a father now, I kind of reflect on it because it was the ultimate version of what a father should be. Because even now when I think about my daughter and the kind of father that I want to be to her, I mean, you can't have a better example, because there's so many things, like I mentioned, that I can go back to.
Being able to see my dad in the role as a pastor I don't think I realized how important it was back then, but it was such an honor for me because he had the heart of a pastor. He loved BFM. He loved any church that he would go to. He took it so passionately, and he loved what he did. He loved the call on his life, and being able to see him mentor and teach so much people, it was truly an honor. I felt like a proud daughter. Even I didn't realize how much of an impact he had on people until he passed on November 9th. It was crazy because we actually found ourselves having to literally comfort other people so much because, they were coming to us for comfort because they couldn't understand how we were holding it up and they were falling apart because, so much people said that he was so much more of a father to them than their actual parents. So it was just, it's such an honor to hear. I was really a proud daughter to hear how so much people viewed him as more than just a pastor. So that was a great thing for me to see growing up and as an adult.
All right, my name is Myles Munroe Jr., and my father was Dr. Myles Munroe. Yeah, watching my dad father other people, actually it was something that I didn't even think was abnormal growing up because, you have to keep in mind, he was a pastor by the time that I was born, so he had already established himself as a father for others. So for me, it wasn't something like abnormal. Like, sometimes you have kids who resent their father, like, I guess, opening up the family in a sense and having a lot of other kids come in, technically other kids come along into the family. So it wasn't a big deal for me. Part of it may have been that my father and my mother did a good job prepping and preparing myself and my sister for who they were and the call that was on their life as pastors and as mentors to a whole lot of other individuals. So it was cool. I even now, you have folks that would come up to me or message me or email me and just say how much of an impact my dad had on their life, and is still having on their life. And that just shows that fathering goes way beyond like the physical sense of a thing, right? Because when you father someone, and this is something that I think on on a daily basis, when you father someone, that relationship or that fathering goes beyond your lifetime, right? Because there are times where us as kids or as mentees or however you want to call it, the things that we learn through the relationship are still impacting and affecting our lives long before our fathers have passed. So him being that impactful and influential to other people just encourages me to want to push myself to those limits and father more than just my immediate kids, but hopefully just extend my fathering to other individuals as well.
I just want to encourage all of the young men to continue to listen to any father figure that you have, to your fathers if you have them. Love them while they're here, because it's so much things that you can and you will miss when they are gone, but celebrate them while they're here. And that's one thing I want to say to you. So happy Father's Day to all of the fathers, all of the men fathering young men in our community. Continue to do that as well, because you serve a very important purpose as well. So happy Father's Day, everyone.
So I just want to say happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. You guys are really special, really important to your family, to all the fathers who are there raising their kids and teaching their kids and developing their kids. Even through the difficulties, your kids getting older and you not having maybe a strong relationship with them, that strong relationship is going to come back. Just stay patient, stay prayerful, just keep praying over your kids. I think prayer is important. That's one thing my parents did for my sister and I all the time. They prayed over us. We prayed every day before school, before we left the house. I think that's important, just building those family bonds. But happy Father's Day to all the fathers, wishing you all the best, and I'm hoping that you get a little bit more than some crab and rice or a tie or some cufflinks today. I hope you get something a little bit more special this time around. All right, happy Father's Day.